May we call to order, please? It is 9 a.m. Emily, would you do a roll call, please?
Commissioner Ashworth.
Here.
Commissioner Banks.
Here.
Commissioner Hassler.
Here.
Commissioner Wild.
Here.
Very good. Welcome, everyone. Happy November. Apparently not. Happy November. All right. Thank you. And by the way, if you're not familiar with the calendar, it's also the holiday season. So happy holiday season as we get into it. A lot of holidays already passed and coming up over the next month and a half or so. So happy holiday season. Veterans in the room, you know what? Why don't you stand up if you're a current or former military in any way veteran, please stand up. Thank you. We are incredibly grateful for your sacrifice and your service to protect all of us and protect our country. We're also deeply grateful to your family for all their sacrifice when you served, and continue to serve most likely. So thank you for that. We'll have a happy birthday, but we'll leave that for a little later in the meeting. Retired Chief Kleinick is going to talk to us a little bit about our collective birthday. And then lastly, we wish our colleague Travis Brown the best in his continued journey, in his full recovery. Board, anything else to make mention of before we kick off? We'll do that. Thank you, sir. All right. Will you please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Chief, looks like we're going to start out with some swearing in.
Yes, sir.
All right, looks like we have 7 of you. Thank you all very much. If all 7 of you would come forward and stand right up front, and if you would face the board, we would appreciate that. You guys can slide that way just a little bit. All right, so there's one pledge that we'll ask all of you to do, and then we have a second statement for those of you for the airport and those of you for WashU. Does that work? All right, so if you'll raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, and then state your name. Do solemnly swear that I am a citizen of the United States. That I will support the Constitution and laws of the United States, the state of Missouri, and the charter and ordinances of St. Louis County. That I will faithfully adhere to the regulations provided in the rules and procedures for deputization as adopted by St. Louis County. And that I will faithfully demean myself as a deputized officer of the St. Louis County Police. So help me God. Congratulations, you are semi-officially sworn in. You can put your arms down. Thank you. All right, for those of you with the airport police, as a deputized officer of St. Louis County, you are restricted to the protection of persons and property at Lambert International St. Louis Airport. Understood? To WashU, as a deputized officer of St. Louis County, your authority is restricted to the protection of persons and property on the Washington University campus. Good? Congratulations. Thank you for all that you're going to do. Take the board hand. Thank you again. Not a lot. Many of us there are. Thank you.
Told you to get out of here early.
Hey, before you guys leave, did you guys bring anybody here to support you? No? Good enough. Congrats. Okay. All right.
Then you just say, I remember.
Congratulations. Congrats.
Sir, move on.
Congratulations, sir. Congrats. Congratulations. Take care.
Chief, we like the microphone on your lapel.
You like that?
Cavalier, yeah, that's pretty good.
I don't like it. It makes me loud.
I think they
You gotta
figured
watch
it
what you
out.
say now.
I gotta watch what I say, exactly.
You're on a hot mic.
I'm on the hot mic.
I think we will bounce it over to you, sir, if you don't mind. For you to
Okay,
have some
this
commendations.
morning we have some accommodations to make. Police Officer Jacob Myers, Police Officer Ryan Hayes. Jacob, congratulations, sir.
Appreciate it.
It's yours. And Ryan, that's yours. Here, we're gonna stand here and here, I'll get in the middle, okay? There we go. All right, thank you. Sergeant Armbruster, you up, sir?
Morning, ladies and gentlemen, members of the board, command staff members. I'm Sergeant John Armbruster of the North County Precinct. It's my honor today to present this award to Officer Jacob Myers and Officer Ryan Hayes.
Yeah, what they
I
do?
forgot the date this happened. Sunday, March 31st at 1:09 p.m., these officers responded to a call for a robbery at the Walgreens store at 2202 Chambers Road. The suspect that was reportedly armed with a knife had just robbed the store and had taken a hostage in the back room. Their response was quick and effective, isolating the suspect and preventing him from doing any harm. The victim was rescued without injury. They acted decisively under pressure, arresting the suspect after he used active aggression against them. Warrants were issued for burglary first degree, robbery first degree, kidnapping first degree, and 3 counts of armed criminal action. I will editorialize just a little bit. When you are working as a supervisor in the North County Precinct by yourself, and a call like this comes out, an armed robbery in which there is a hostage taken in the back room, that is cause for a little bit of nervousness. However, when I hear 1107 and 2126 are en route, it makes it a lot easier when you know that these 2 officers are on their way or they're going to handle business. They did a great job this day. They did a great job every day. Appreciate them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Meet the board. Good work. Come here, guys, for a minute. Got anybody here that you want to recognize that came here to support you? Nobody? Nobody here? Okay, nobody here to help you out, huh? All right, you didn't need it anyway. Myers, you got anybody here?
Yes, sir. My parents, Paul and Michelle, are both right here.
Why don't you stand up? Thank you guys for being here. Appreciate it. Good work, man. All right.
Thank you for giving him to us. We appreciate it greatly.
Police Officer Jarrett Welty. Jarrett, congratulations, young man. All right, that's yours. Thank you. Lieutenant, you're up, sir.
Thank you, Chief. Chief, members of the board, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to direct your attention to an incident that occurred on March 28th in the North County Precinct. Officer Welty was on patrol that day, and he was focusing his patrol on one of our hotspot areas. It's kind of known for carjackings, assaults with firearms, and burglaries. While he was patrolling this area, Officer Welty noticed an occupied vehicle that was parked in the driveway of a vacant residence. Noticing that the vehicle looked a little out of place, being at a vacant residence, believing that a possible burglary was taking place, Officer Welty stopped to make contact with the occupants of the vehicle. As he exited his patrol vehicle, the driver of that vehicle fled on foot. Officer Welty engaged in a foot pursuit and was able to take the subject into custody without incident. He continued with his investigation. He was able to identify the suspect, who initially had lied about his identity. He eventually found out who he was and determined that he was a convicted felon who had been on the run for multiple felonies from another state. For 15 years, he had been on the run. Officer Welty didn't stop there, though. He continued his investigation, interviewed the subject, and located a firearm that he had been in possession of, which he was obviously legally disqualified from owning. Officer Welty did a great job preparing the case for federal prosecution, and he was able to take an armed fugitive off the streets. This is just one example of the phenomenal work that Officer Welty does day in and day out. In fact, just this past week, I had the honor of presenting him with the Officer of the Year award for the North County Precinct Midnight Watch. So there's no doubt that citizens of St. Louis County are fortunate to have an officer like Officer Welty keeping them safe. Good job, Jared.
Jared, anybody here with you? Came by yourself? You're a good man. Appreciate you. There you go. There you go. All these guys are here for you. Great job, man. Thank you. All
I
right.
like that. We like when you all do that, when you say, we're here for you. That's great. Like that.
Buchner. Okay. Jeremy Buchner. Hope I pronounced that right. Close. Okay. Jared? Calls you what? Beans. Beans? Okay, Beans. Congratulations. Thank you. Sarge, you're up, sir.
Members of the board, I'd like to present to you Officer Jeremy Buhner. This is an incident that occurred this year in March at the right outside the Hazelwood East High School. We got a call for an assault that occurred at Claudine and Norgate. We responded for a violent assault where there were several officers that responded and quickly identified a female who was unconscious and laying on the ground. It was clear that she was in critical condition at the time. Officer Buhner, whose beat this is, quickly assumed responsibility of the scene, and in cooperation with other officers and the school district employees, identified 13 witnesses to this incident. Additionally, there was video of the incident that was seized on scene, which was later used in this incident, later used in the investigation, rather. Officer Buhner, who has a great working relationship with the school district, also worked with them to identify other suspects, 8 other suspects in this incident, so 9 total. After doing interviews with each of these witnesses and the suspects, he was able to culminate this investigation with the arrests or charges of all 9 of them, 8 of them misdemeanor charges, 1 felony charge. In addition, Officer Buhner has also stayed in contact with the family of this juvenile who was in critical condition. I'm not sure what her status is at this point. Okay. She basically had what's that called, a cranie? Anyway, they took part of her skull.
Craniotomy.
Craniotomy. Anyway, Officer Buhner has been in contact with that family and stayed in contact with them on behalf of our department. This story also did gain some national traction on it and was in the news for several news cycles, which generated a lot of phone calls to our precinct. Officer Buhner embodies what we would like our officers to do in their investigations and the way that they're handled in a professional manner. He's also, not sure where Captain Cavaletti, he's also an aspiring detective up in the Bureau. And once again, he's also a veteran, as you noted earlier. So without further ado, we appreciate your endeavor on this. Thank you.
Great job, man. Got anybody here with you?
Yes, I have my wife, my mother-in-law,
Please
and my
stand.
father-in-law.
We'll say the same thing. Thank you for giving him to us. We appreciate it, as does obviously that young lady that he saved. So thank you.
Speaking of investigations, could I say a few words?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Last week or week before last, we had a brutal homicide up in North County where a young man confronted a 92-year-old man in his yard raking his leaves, and for no apparent reason, shot him in the face 3 times and killed him. The investigation involved a lot of work by Colonel Lohr's people, Captain Cavaletti, in bringing this subject into custody. And it just shows how our department worked together. The detective that handled this, he went from house to house, tracking this guy from one location to another, getting Ring camera information. The Ring camera stopped at one location, lost track of him, he went to another house, got another camera, picked him up again, found him dumping his clothes in a dumpster. Seized his clothes. Anybody from the lab here? Got the lab working on this. They came up with some DNA, tracked it to 3 people. They did an emergency processing of this DNA. Didn't know that DNA could hit on about 3 different people. I thought my DNA was just mine and nobody else's, but it's not the case. From there, they came up with a name. They tracked that name, found out this guy had some prior arrests. That's how they got the DNA. Tracked phone calls, found out where he lived, went to the house, contacted the mother. The mother had made about 15 phone calls to her sister over in Illinois. We got intelligence involved in that, put together search warrants. Everybody worked together to get over there and get this guy, and they finally picked him up. Wrote a decent, very decent report, but for some reason, the PA had issues with issuing warrants against this guy. So it didn't stop, so Colonel Lohr and Cavaletti went over there to have a talk with the PA. They finally issued the warrants on this guy. A great work about everybody worked together, to put this together to solve that crime. So just wanted to let you know, great investigation as you did. It's all working together.
Deeply. Commissioner
Yes,
Hassler said it, and we all do. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Commissioner?
Yes, sir.
All
Thank
yours,
you.
sir.
So we talked about a birthday. We're actually going to have to celebrate this twice. Bill's going to come up, our historian. He's going to talk a little bit about the history of the county and the history of this police department getting us to a point. And we'll celebrate a little bit this month with some proclamations and a room naming. And then next year, we will, next year we will celebrate the actual operational birthday of this police department. But Chief, if you wouldn't mind giving us a bit of history of what we're about to talk about, we'd appreciate it.
Chairman mentioned you're celebrating a birthday this month, and there's a reason for that. 70 years ago this month, the voters of St. Louis County voted 83% yes to create the county police and the Board of Police Commissioners. And the charter change that they voted for transferred all the law enforcement duties of the sheriff and the law enforcement duties of the constables to the county police. That's why all of you who are in uniform are deputy sheriffs. That also left the jail and service of civil process to the sheriff's office. So 70 years ago, in November, the board and the police department was created. That was a long time ago, right? I was in high school. Didn't know anything about it, but I lived in Michigan. Now, why was it created? That's the answer. And why is this gentleman that the chairman is going to talk about so important to why it was created? It was created because the county supervisor at the time, now the county executive, had an office right back here in the corner. And he decided that St. Louis County needed a citizens commission to study law enforcement in St. Louis County, and gave him a due date to make a report back to what should be done with law enforcement. Not just the county police, but the prosecutor, the courts, and probation and parole, all of it. And the report's back there if you're interested in reading it. It's long. He appointed a 15-member citizens commission. And one of those members was elected as the first chairman, Arthur B. Shepley, Jr. He was a lawyer here, prominent, well-known, And he was the person that chaired the committee and got things done. And their job was to report back by a certain date. As the historian for the last 13 years, when Chief Fitch appointed me, didn't want to do it at first, but he convinced me. And I said, what's my job description? Your job is to collect, preserve, and record the history of the county police. So I've been doing that for 13 years. I've read a lot of documents. I looked at a lot of newspaper articles. I've talked to a lot of people. Most of them have faint remember. They were in high school also. But there was one guy that got this done, and this was Shipley. And if I didn't know it at the time when I sat in Chief Gregory's chair, my assistant said a file came in from a man, Mr. Shipley. Shipley, he thinks that the family thinks that you should have this file. And I inherited all of his notes from being on the commission. At the time, I didn't know anything about it, and I told them, put it in the safe, which is right back here. Well, many, many years ago, when now I'm the historian, guess what? I inherited the safe, and in the safe was this file. I've been reading that for the last several months. He's the man that made this happen. He got a lot of criticisms. Biggest criticism came from municipal chiefs. They thought the county police was going to take over all of their duties. And he convinced every one of them, as well as others in the media, the county police was created to police the unincorporated area of the county and provide services to the municipalities. That's why 83% of the people voted for it. And I think as a historian that he absolutely is the father of the county police. Not Chief Superintendent DuBois, who was selected first, not others, but he's the guy, and the records are there if you want to review them. So I thank the police board for helping me collect, preserve, and record the history of the county police. And someday, all of you will be part of that history. One other thing I want to mention.
Thank you, sir.
So Shipley was the chairman, the new police board was created. You have 4 months seniority over the department. And so seniority means a lot in the police profession. Sorry to tell you all that. You started work in February. The county police started work in July. One other person was on the commission, has a big role in the history of the county police. That was the first chairman of the Board of Police Commissioners. His name was Walter Metcalf. His picture is back there on the wall. It's the first one at the top, the first. So he was the first chairman. He had the history of the Citizens Committee, how this could take place, and they got the job done.
No worries.
That's great.
History of thought. Likewise, sir. Thank you.
I didn't thank the department, the chief, and all the staff who helped me. I'm just a volunteer. You know what volunteers are.
Oh, we appreciate it. We'll come back to you in a moment, but let's finish up on the Shepley thing. The Board of Police Commissioners would like to issue a proclamation to Arthur B. Shepley Jr. Again, Mr. Shepley is no longer here. Chief Kleinack worked hard to get someone from the family here. Unfortunately, we're unable to attend, so we're going to issue the proclamation to Chief Kleinack, and he will pass it on to, is it a grandson, sir, that's out of the country and will be coming back over the holidays? Is that correct? Comes back once a year to pay his taxes. Good man. Good man. The proclamation reads, whereas on July 15th, 1953, the St. Louis County Supervisor appointed Arthur B. Shepley Jr. as a member and chair of a 15-member Citizens Commission on Law Enforcement in St. Louis County to study the structure of local law enforcement in the county and offer recommendations for improvement. And whereas Shepley not only encouraged, but led the commission in a lengthy study of St. Louis County's system of electing sheriffs and constables, and also to study the study of several other U.S. counties with similar law enforcement problems and issues. And whereas the commission recommended a charter amendment to replace the sheriff and constable system with a civilian board of police commissioners and a professional, non-political police department responsible for the unincorporated areas of St. Louis County, entering into police service contracts with municipalities and providing county-wide police services. For example, Police Academy, Crime Lab, Central Records, investigating organized crime activity, etc. And whereas, based on the news coverage and records during the period, Shepley was very successful in convincing and addressing issues and difficult situations. For example, some citizens wanted to retain the elected sheriff constable system even though it had become political and non-professional. Municipal police chiefs opposed the charter change thinking it intended to eliminate their police departments. Shepley was able to convince them that it was not the intent, and whereas as a result of Shepley's leadership on November 2, 1954, 70 years ago last week, I guess 2 weeks ago, the St. Louis County voters approved at 83% a charter amendment to establish a Board of Police Commissioners and a professional non-political police department, the St. Louis County Police Department. Members of the police board and county police officers began their official duties at midnight on July 1, 1955, hence our birthday party again next year. Whereas in order to determine/confirm the legal standing and jurisdiction of the new police department and the Board of Police, Shepley filed a friendly appeal to the Missouri Supreme Court to determine if the police board and county police were legal. On August 1955, the court held that the police board and department were legal and established in accordance with constitutional authority. Now, therefore, the St. Louis County Board of Police Commissioners does hereby proclaim November 13th, 2024 as Arthur B. Shepley Jr. as the father of the county police. So, Mr. Shepley, in honorarium, we appreciate all that you did to create this. And as the chief said, we'd all be constables if we didn't have Mr. Shepley. So, Mr. Shepley, thank you. We appreciate it. Additionally, board, I would like to make a motion, and the motion would be to rename this room as the Arthur B. Shepley Board of Police Commissioners Room. May we have a second to that motion, please? Any further conversation? Oh, okay. Yes, it was. Recognition proclamation recognizing Arthur B. Shepley. All right, we'll do it twice then. We'll do it next month again too, so make it official. May we, all in favor of renaming the meeting room as the Arthur B. Shepley Board of Police Commissioners Room, we would please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, Jennifer, we'll do it again next year. All right. Now, retired chief, we appreciate your role as historian deeply. I don't know how many police departments have what he has. If you ever get a moment, in fact, if you're leaving, go down to his office and just open the door and look around. It's a mini museum. And when you think about who we are and who we will be, it's always based on from where we came, right? We build on that, and this man's protecting that. So, Chief, I personally and on behalf of the board, we thank you for your volunteerism in creating the basis off of which this department will always look back and say thank you, no matter how far we go in the future. So thank you, sir. Thank you all. Pretty cool, and thank you, Mr. Shepley. Chief, we're going to bounce it back to you, sir.
Okay, we're getting ready to get into the business part of the board meeting. Those of you who have other opportunities, other things you need to do, this is your time to get out of Dodge. Okay? Thank you all for being here. Appreciate it. Thank you. All right. Thank you for coming. Appreciate it. Thank you for coming. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right. Thank you. Guys, congrats again, okay? Thank you. All right, man. We'll see you. So move. I'm good. Shut. Okay.
All those awards up in the first.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like all the police work happens in the first.
That's what Mike just said.
Good old Captain Morgan and all the awards up in the first.
No, thank you.
Right.
Ready? Yes, sir.
I think she's trying to hide, but I think Terry's out in the hallway. She's going to come in and do budget. There she is.
I was hiding. Good morning.
Good morning.
I do not have that much, except I wanted to explain on 2024. So I am saying $11.1 million surplus. It is lower than last month. due to, so I adjusted retirement again because they have not changed it. And because they added another paycheck to it. So our January 1st paycheck, they're cutting it on December 31st. So that will go towards 2024. So I adjusted it by a little bit. And then I transferred, I think I mentioned this last month, that I transferred 400,000 out of salaries for the vehicles. And then I transferred 300,000 from fuel surplus to cover the shortage in vehicle maintenance costs. And then 2025, we still have not heard anything.
Seriously?
Yeah, seriously.
Do we
It
have
has
a
not been
meeting?
approved. We had a meeting. I think we're having another one
When is the next meeting? When do we expect to get guidance?
next week, next Thursday.
What, the
Uh,
next
council,
budget meeting?
Yeah,
The 21st.
21st.
And is that the budget meeting with all the department heads?
No, that's
No.
just us with the council. Okay. That's our second one.
I think they called three groups back, three departments back, us, health, and public works. They want more from us. We have no idea what it is.
No, because the first one went fine. So I don't know. I imagine it's a different topic. I don't know. I wish I did. Any questions?
Nope.
All right.
Like your glasses, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Can I ask quickly just about the ARPA reimbursements?
Pardon?
Are we up to date on the ARPA reimbursements?
Yes.
Because I understand those funds all have to be committed by the 31st of December.
Yeah, so they're already committed because there's purchase orders, and that's what that means. We just have to expend them then by the 6 months after that. But there's purchase orders for everything, and we're very up to date.
Great.
Lieutenant, you're up.
Morning.
Good morning.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Perfect. Apologize for my voice in advance. My church choir practice has been, a lot of expectations there, so if you can't hear my voice, I apologize.
So are you going to sing the presentation?
Probably will. Yes, sir. That happens. So let's begin with our crime statistics. First slide is notable events. Citizen complaints have gone up 2 in the last month. It's still a 22% increase from this time last year. If I move too fast, please let me know. I apologize. Internal investigation incidents, we received 5 last month. We're actually down 19.6% compared to this time last year. Use of force incidents, we had 27 last month. 70% of all the use of force still continue to be physical restraint. It's about the same as it was last year. Department vehicle accidents, similar to previous months, no real change there. Vehicle pursuits, we had 4 this past month. Failed yields, we had 110 last month. First and 8th precinct continue to be the predominant precincts. We had 940 of those. If you open that up to the 4th precinct, we have 1,180. That percentage increases from 54% to 68%. That's our heat map from that. Some of the highlights, arrests, 831 arrests, up from 255. I'm sorry, from 606, that's a 255 increase, 37%. Guns have gone down from 76 to 67, that's 11.8% decrease. DWI reports 2 less from 44 to 42. Interesting note, typically about 60 to 65% of those come from highway safety. 40% of these DWIs came from highway safety. We have 2 officers on FMLA right now, so that could attest to that number. However, that is a pretty good increase from previous months, 42 is, so it's interesting. Moving on to the NIBRS crime slides. You'll note here on the first category with homicides, there's 33. You'll see on the infograph that there's 37, and I'll explain that when we get to it. Homicides are down 8.3%. There's 33 homicides year to date versus 36 this time last year. Overall, the aggravated assaults continue to be the outlier number. They're up compared to last year, but trending downwards of 1.5% for this year so far. Crimes against persons overall is up 4.1%. Moving on to the infograph, as you can see that 3 homicides for St. Louis County this past month. They were all within St. Louis County Police Department patrolled areas. There's 57 homicides on the year. 37 of those are St. Louis County. 20 of those are municipalities. Like I said, with the previous NIBRS slide, 33 homicides for the year. We actually had 4 that were counted as deaths from previous years, which is why that number is different.
Can you go back to that
Yes,
slide?
ma'am. I apologize.
On the right side there, the graph has a key at the bottom and it says, obviously I can't see it from here, but it says gang related. But when I was looking at it at home, I couldn't determine if there was any percentage on that graph.
Capiletti, Tony.
Are you talking about, like, you're indicating that this was a gang-related offense? Or
Yeah.
gang-related
Yes.
homicide?
So down at the key, it has a little color thing for it, but I couldn't see it in the actual graph, at least when I was looking at it at home.
Ally's coming. Ally to the rescue with her baby.
No gang-related.
Gang-related.
Thank you. Okay. But it's also the same, the color was the same too. They're two little things, they're together.
Slightly different blues in there.
Yes. Yes.
There's no gang-related shown, but it is an option.
Okay.
Ally to the rescue with the baby.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ally.
Thank you.
We're gonna write this down. That's one for the books. Okay, moving on to, I'm sorry, do you have any other questions?
No, that was
Commissioner?
it. Thank you.
My apologies. Moving on to the crimes against property. As you can see, all the categories of, for property are down with the exception of fraud and burglaries. Robberies down total 24.3%. Larceny totals down 16.3%. Motor vehicle theft down 35.8%. Burglary is up 9.4%. Fraud's up 9.1%. Overall, crimes against property is down 15.8%. Moving on to crimes against society. Drug and narcotic violations are down 26.3%. As we documented previously in previous board meetings, the prostitution offenses continue to show high. And overall, crimes against society is down 16.5%. Moving on to calls for service. It's interesting, all precincts are practically even. Largest difference would be 47 calls for service. If you're looking at the moving average, largest difference being 47, that's West County. So there's no real big change here. Moving on to self-initiated calls. Nothing really of note. Top calls for October of '24 continue to be sick cases, burglar alarms, motor vehicle crashes. Self-initiated, they tend to be extra patrol, business checks, traffic stops. Nothing of note. Traffic stop data, we didn't detect any outliers. And Commissioner, you'd asked for the an additional slide for some year-to-date data, and this is that right there. Any questions?
Can you leave it up for just a minute, please?
Yes, sir.
Sir?
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners.
So you did a nice job of pinch hitting.
Sir?
You did a nice job of pinch hitting again.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Swagner, you're up.
Looks like we all do. We're all. Morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
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 Right. So just a quick update on staffing. So I believe it was last month we switched over to measuring our vacancy rate. So that just gives us a better idea with the fluctuation in number of positions. Right now, we have a rolling average of about 15%, and the national average for law enforcement is 10 to 15. So we're
High
kind of
end.
at top. Yep.
High end.
So the lower the number, the better. So that's something we're definitely looking at, and that's for commissioned. And then for professional staff, we're at 11.5, so a lot better in that average range for professional staff.
Seems to be trending the wrong way, though.
For professional staff, yes. So we've gone 2 months now with no resignations or retirements from commissioned. We've only had it from professional staff. So it did, really adjust that a little bit. So in terms of commissioned staff, we received 46 applications in the month of October. That was compared to 57 the month before. So it went down just a little bit. However, over half of those were either not qualified or withdrew from the process. We currently have 20, both experienced and recruits in backgrounds right now. So very busy with those. And then in terms of professional staff, we received 28 dispatch applications, but 24 of those were not qualified or withdrew. But we do have 2 in backgrounds right now. And then with security officers, we received 10 applications, 7 which weren't qualified or withdrew from the process. And we have 3 in backgrounds right now. And then for care report clerks, we got 6 applications, 2 were not qualified or withdrew. We don't have any in the actual background process right now. They're all in the very beginning stages of testing. So that's where those are right now. But total, we have 39 backgrounds right now in my office. So that number was typically around 18 to 20 was kind of our average there for probably the first 6 months of me being here. So that's really increased, which is awesome. We love to see that. We're receiving an average of 3 to 5 police applications per day. That used to be like our weekly total. So our number of applications have definitely gone up. Right now we have 14 unassigned backgrounds. So I have 2 full-time background investigators and then 2 intermittent right now. And so they are all over their max that they can do at a time. So that's where those 14 unassigned are. But we're utilizing some limited duty officers that can't work full duty right now, so we're utilizing them. And then, yeah, we're gonna have Deputy Chief do some background. And then some detachments as well, so to kind of help with that workload so we can get these going. We hate to see those sit there. They're gonna find other jobs, no longer be interested if they sit for very long. So really trying to utilize those. We're also trying to brainstorm some ideas for staffing solutions for some of our critical positions. So, like care, records, warrant, where they're struggling. Trying to come up with some out-of-the-box ideas of what we could do to kind of help them as well. Some of our limited duty officers are also helping out in care, things like that. So really trying to prioritize that. And then in terms of the psychologist that we were going to be hiring, we're kind of at a standstill right now. So back up a little bit because I don't think I updated you guys on this yet. So it's in our charter that we cannot have a medical professional, report to the chief or whatever. They have to report to the Department of Health. So I've been working with the Director of Department of Health. We transferred that position over to county, so no big deal. They can still be just ours, doesn't have to be, countywide. And then I was working on securing some office space. It's very important that this person is not in headquarters, not at a precinct, that confidentiality and people feeling comfortable to go see the psychologist. Very important that it's offsite. So I was able to find an office space at 270 and Olive, so pretty much centrally located for everybody, convenient, but very private. So I was working with Public Works as they handle our leases. So we were working through getting the lease. And then that was kind of squashed. They said, we don't need any extra office space. So we're kind of at a standstill right now, trying to figure out what to do to move forward. So I will keep you posted as we kind of work through that.
How can the board help?
Maybe some phone calls?
You let us know, to whom, and we'll
Yep.
take that,
Okay.
take that on. And part of that is how they define need versus how we define need.
Yes.
Whose decision was it?
Um,
The lease wasn't, did it come out of Public Works or did it come out?
No, it came from, is it,
Deanna Vinker.
thank you. I was like, I think it was Val, but yeah, it's Deanna Vinker. She was the one that made the decision and just put a stop to it.
So when we had our committee of the whole in reference to the budget, a topic came up about buildings that we rent. And there was a big discussion amongst the council about the number of buildings that we rent. I think they're trying to cut back their budget on buildings that we have. And this is probably where that came from, trying to cut back on rental buildings that we have. So it's probably where this came from.
So, the gentleman that I was working with in Public Works, he said he did explain why we're needing an offsite, why it can't be utilized in a precinct or headquarters. But he's like, I don't know that that's going to make a difference. So he's like, I'll let you know if I hear anything. So that's where we're at with that. So our Leadership Development Institute, very exciting. It did launch this week. The program actually starts in January, but we started receiving applications. We received 10 just Monday and Tuesday. We just opened it on Monday, which was a holiday. But really excited to see that. We have a mix of sergeants, officers, and professional staff. So we're hoping to really see that also include command staff as well, so that we can really capture everybody. But I actually received 2 more applications while we we're sitting here. So really good response from it. Chase, which is our HR project manager who's running this, he's been out to all the precincts, going to different roll calls, just really trying to capture everybody and just answer any questions they may have, but also, speak it up. He also came to command staff yesterday to kind of educate everybody on that. So really excited for it to really kick off.
It was neat to see it launch.
I'm sorry?
It was nice to see it launch.
Yes, very exciting. So just a quick update for retention. Our resignations for commission staff are still down 64% to LY. Retirements are up 32%, but compared to the national average, we're still trending a little bit better than that. And then professional staff resignations are down 6%, retirements are down 40%. So we're still really on the right track of really keeping that focus on retention. And then in terms of recruiting, one of the biggest things we're celebrating right now is our academy class that starts in January. We have 13 that are confirmed and another 17 in background. So we're really looking at probably 25 to 26 people in that class. Just to give you an idea, we have 9 graduating out of the current class. So really excited about that. Sergeant Minor and Lieutenant Bland have been working so hard on really looking at, what can we do to capture more people and just kind of redefining some of our processes. That's really helped with that. Seen a big difference in that. We're also, in terms of recruiting, we're really trying to focus on veterans and college athletes. So 2 different, very specific groups. Sergeant Minor actually sent out and was compiling a list of employees that can attend events with recruiters. So our veterans and then any past college athletes. So we have a working list that we can go off of. When we're going to different events there, we can take somebody with us. And it's not just our recruiters. We've also booked a couple of events in other states that is just for veterans. So we're really looking forward to those events. They have great success rates at those events. And so we're going to kind of cast a bigger net. We were also approved for funds from the Police Foundation for an advertising campaign. We've hit a couple just small speed bumps, so we're just kind of waiting to move forward with that. So we're really excited to get that off the ground. And then our new URL is now active, joincountypd.com. So when you type that in now, it takes you to our Join Our Team page on the website. And then as we get started with the marketing company, they're going to create a whole new landing page for us that's just a lot more user-friendly. So really looking forward to that. But it is active right now.
When do you anticipate the campaign, the marketing campaign, to be visible?
Hopefully in the next month, if not sooner.
Does that funding include television?
Yes, yes, and streaming. So, if somebody's watching Hulu or Netflix, it would also show up there as well.
Great.
And then just a quick update on our 30 by 30 initiative. These numbers are really great to see. So I have the 2024 numbers year to date so far. These are as of 10/31. And then compared to 2023, so as you can see, our recruits right now, 40% female compared to 16.7 last year. So that's really good increase. As well as our command staff. So you'll see like captain, now we actually are on the board. And even, sergeants were also trending higher than last year as well. So all said and done, we're at 15.6% right now compared to 15.3. So we are moving the mark, but it continues to be a focus of ours as well to get to that 30% by 2030. And that's all I have.
But what it looks like is the pipeline on the front end has opened up a little bit. So as that filters up to sergeants and lieutenants and captains over the years.
Yes.
Very good.
Yeah, it'll be a trickle effect.
Other questions?
How long does a background check take?
It depends. So it really depends on the candidate and how quickly they're getting us the things that we need. But it usually is about 2 to 3 months for from application to hire date.
Is that something we could speed up, or is there, process improvement there that
We've
I
looked at all of
recommend?
that. We've definitely looked at it. I mean, there are software programs that kind of speed that up, but we're talking a lot of money. So, beyond that, it's really just kind of encouraging the candidates to get us the things that we need. But, if I had another 10 investigators, probably, but in a perfect world.
Could you provide us some information on the software you might need?
Yeah, absolutely.
I hate to see those 14 people in limbo.
Yes.
with
Yeah.
all the other
So
departments hiring.
I had done a demo with a company, wasn't long after I got here, so probably end of last year. And they have really good success rates. And a lot of the case studies that with agencies that have used them, they decreased their background time in half. So really good success rates. But there's a lot of companies that do it. But yeah, I'll absolutely provide that for you.
All of us, please.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions?
I was looking at the website. It looks really nice.
Yes. Thank you. We're working on it. All right.
Great. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. Getting back to the building situation, as I mentioned at the Committee of the Whole, Councilman Harder came up with a list of buildings that he thought we were paying rent for. I have no idea where that list came from. So we researched those buildings that he gave us, a check with Catania and Fiscal, to find out just what buildings we were paying for. And she gave me that list. Bless you.
Thank you.
She gave me that list. She gave me the list of the buildings that we're paying utilities at. So that's part of the information I'm going to take back to them when we have that meeting on the 21st. Like I said, some of the buildings we weren't even aware of, and we researched them and we're not paying rent for them. One thing that you might want to know in reference to, bless you, last week before last, when communications went out, Captain Blake and his people have put together, have resolved that situation. They've also put together an emergency phone number that we can use to where we won't have that issue again and where people cannot contact communication. So great job on people doing that work out there. So,
Chief, what was all the power outages over the weekend? We had, I think the jail, the criminal justice, said there were 4 or 5,
Right,
what
yeah.
looked to be about 4 or
we were
5
talking
different
about that the other day.
facilities.
I don't know what's happening with the jail to where they lose their power or just kind of on a regular basis. I know for a period of time, not too long ago, they had Reinhardt Electric and those huge transformers out there providing power. I assumed after they had left, they had corrected that issue over there, but apparently not so. So I don't know what was the issue with the power going out over there.
Thank you. Any other questions for the chief before we move now?
Thank you.
Thanks, sir. All right, next topic on the agenda are approval of minutes. May we have a motion to approve our October 8, 2024 meeting minutes?
I move that the October
October 8.
October 8th minutes be approved.
Do we have a second? Second. Any questions on the October 8, 2024 meeting minutes? All in favor of approving the October 8, 2024 meeting minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? October 8, 2024 minutes are approved. May we have a motion to approve our October 16, 2024 minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any further conversation on October 16 minutes? All in favor of approving our October 16, 2024 meeting minutes, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Very good. October 8th and October 16, 2024 meeting minutes are approved. Next topic are letters and communications. Any incoming communication?
Sir.
Anything from an outgoing perspective? All right. Any old business? Next topic, new business. We have 13 contracts in our packet. May we have a motion to approve the 13 contracts that are listed in our packet and on the website?
So moved.
May we have a second? Any further conversation on the new contracts? I do have a question on contracts I, J, and K. They're all professional service agreements for the CMPA. They are all for private security original training. They are all for 52 weeks, and they all overlap. Is that joint training, or do we have 3 groups coming in to do 3 training all on the same days? Can someone explain I, J, and K, please?
I'll get back to you on that, sir. Is Tucker here? It's 3, okay, it's 3 different
They're
agencies.
through the record rooms. They're for private security.
Yeah.
training that They do, I can't answer. I just know that we've done them every year.
They can
All
have
through-
like 5 different agencies do it, and we encumber that amount of money for them, and we might have some left over. It's just whoever they contract with that day for that service. But there'll be more of those coming. We'll have a couple more businesses that we'll contract with.
Okay, Terry, may I clarify that a little bit? Because it gets into, we're not paying 3 companies to come in and do the same thing every week. We're paying 3 companies, depending on who's available, will come in during that day, week, month to do the training.
Correct.
Got it. Thank you. Any further conversation on the 13 contracts? All in favor of approving the 13 contracts with the notification of what happens with the private security and original training? All right. May I have a motion to approve all 13 contracts? Sorry, second? Sorry, you're right. Forgive me. All in favor of approving the 13 contracts, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Very good. Thank you. Department manual. You are just doing everything today. You are our version of a Jose Akendo. You do shortstop and third base and...
For your consideration for approval, this is the Field Training and Evaluation Program Rules and Procedures Manual. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them, but I can give you a summary if you'd like.
Please, just a summary.
So some of the things that they clarified, new and old terms, obviously expanding, clarifying the probationary police officer, field trainer, supervisor, commander, all the way up to the program coordinator's tasks and objectives. One thing it was real deliberate, I guess, for lack of a better term, was the involvement of the sergeant itself, right? There's a field training sergeant who acts as a monitor for the field trainee, the field trainer, and the commander. So he's a good liaison. You don't want to have something that gets lost in the weeds, and all of a sudden we're trying to graduate a field training candidate from one phase to another, and all of a sudden in that last hour, the commander becomes aware of something that should have been caught before, right? So there's there's some language in there to shore that up. Primary precinct field trainers are the precincts that they train in are typically, at the needs of the department. Now we've isolated that to when possible, using our first 8, second, third, and fourth precincts as the primary. Now, if we do our training there, what we found is you get more repetitions, right? So you come back into, you may be reassigned to the West County precinct or to Wildwood or to Fenton upon completion of field training. But when possible, we want to have you train in a precinct where those reps are more available. And then finally, the recertification process. I was joking with one of the guys that worked with me a few years ago, and he completed field training instructor course back in like the mid 2000s. You know, there wasn't a process to recertify, and now we kind of have some measures and some steps there. Continuing education hours, recertification process, and that's clarified in that manual.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions for the lieutenant?
No, thank you.
Richard? No, sir. Good. All right, may we have a motion to approve the field training and evaluation program?
I move to approve the field training and evaluation program.
Second.
Any further conversation? It's General Order 24-040, sorry.
No.
It is, thank you, it is the Field Training and Evaluation Program. Thank you again for kicking me under the table. Appropriate. I'm moving too fast on the agenda. All in favor of approving the department manual, the Field Training and Evaluation Program, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, we have a new field training and evaluation program. So let's get somebody else just for fun. No, I'm kidding. Sir, General orders, help yourself.
Again, for your consideration, we've got 3 general orders that are coming up for evaluation, or for consideration for approval, rather, sorry. General Order 40, which is the employee awards recognition. And the overall arching thing is, number one, one of the nice things is it satisfies one of the components of the strategic plan. The big thing is you allow anyone, before your supervisors had to be the person that would recommend somebody for award. Now, this is nice that it allows for anybody, either witnessing or you kind of cut the middleman, but anybody can nominate somebody for an award, which is really nice. General Order 42, missing persons and runaways.
Wait,
Oh, I
wait,
apologize.
that's all right. Any other questions on General Order 24-040, the Employee Awards and Recognition Program? All right. May we have a motion to approve General Order 24-040, Employee Awards and Recognition? Second?
Second.
Any further conversation on General Order 24-040? All in favor of approving 24-040, Employee Rewards and Recognition Program, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? It is approved. Thanks, sir.
Okay, following up with that, we have General Order 42, missing persons and runaways. The overarching theme of this is, getting in state line with notification to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. So before officers are leaving the scene of the call, one of their primary responsibilities is to make notification to the call it NCMEC, National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, before they leave the call, or before they leave the call for service.
Any further questions or clarification needed from Lieutenant on 24-042, missing persons and runaways? Do we have a motion to approve 24-042?
Move that we approve General Order 24-042.
Second.
All right, any further conversation amongst us on 24-042, missing persons and runaways? All in favor of approving 24-042, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? It too is approved. Thank you, sir.
And finally, we have getting the mentor program established and across the finish line. I know Lieutenant Roach and Katie Files will be happy about that. I know our office is. Any questions that I can answer about that specifically?
It's great to see.
Great to see. Ditto. Any further questions for the lieutenant on the mentor program? All right, we have a motion to approve 24-124, a new mentoring program general order. Second? Any further conversation on it? All in favor of approving 24-124, a mentor program, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? You're 3 for 3.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lieutenant, I want to point out one thing on the Employee Awards and Recognition Program. I think that's probably, I don't know if fun's the right word, but that's the best part about being a commissioner, is getting to see that here. But even more importantly, we do it out in the communities. I was in the last month Several of us have been to the South County Business Association, the North County Business Association, the Medal of Valor Luncheon coming up. And it's just a fantastic time. And I don't know how you coach these guys and ladies, but they all answer the same way when I thank them. They always say, I'm just doing my job, or it's my job. But running towards gunfire takes a very specific trait. And the quality of our people out on the streets is just amazing to me.
I don't know personally anybody that's ever had a frown on their face about decorating an officer or a professional staffer. So I couldn't agree more.
Well said, sir.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks, Laura.
Amy, anything from the public? Nope. All right. The Board of Police Commissioners may vote to go into closed meeting for legal advice and review of claims and lawsuits involving the police department, sections 610-0211 RSMO and sections 114.020.11 SL0. Discussion of employee and personnel matters, sections 610.0213 and 13 RSMO, and sections 114.020.13 and 13 SLCRO, and preparation and discussion for negotiations with employee groups, section 610.0219 RSMO and section 114.020.1.9. May we have a motion to move to closed session, please?
Move that we move to closed session.
Second.
Thank you. Any further conversation on moving to closed session? Amy, would you do a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Ashworth,
Yes.
Commissioner Banks.
Yes.
Commissioner Hassler,
Yes.
Commissioner Wild.
Yes.
We are in closed session, and as we break, please have a very happy Thanksgiving. If you celebrate it, and if not, eat heartily anyway. Thank you all. Thank you. We have returned from our closed session. We voted in closed. To return to open session, it was a roll call vote, which all four of the commissioners voted in the affirmative to return to open.
No other votes taken.
Yep, no other votes. May we have anything else? May we have a motion to adjourn?
I'm so moved.
May we have a second?
Second.
Sorry, just trying to hold both. All right. Any further conversation on adjournment? You sure you really want to adjourn? All right. Bad voice is out. Your voice, yeah. I'm sitting, anyway. Yes.
Commissioner Banks.
Yes.
Commissioner Hassler,
Yes.
Commissioner Wild.
Yes.
Our next meeting is tentatively scheduled for December 18th? 18th. Thank you all. Have a good holiday season.
All right.
Yep, happy Thanksgiving. Well said.
Thank you.
We are adjourned.